Hello everyone, today we are going to discuss clinical correlations which are related to pons. So firstly we will see Millard-Gubler syndrome, and this is due to lesion in the lower part of the pons. So this highlighted region you can see, this is of which is of purple color. So if there is lesion in this part due to infarction, so it can cause Millard-Gubler syndrome. Now as you can see, this affects this nerve, and this is sixth cranial nerve. It also affects the facial nerve, and these all are the corticospinal tracts. So it will cause ipsilateral facial palsy due to the involvement of facial nerve, then ipsilateral medial squint due to the involvement of sixth cranial nerve, that is abducent nerve, because abducent helps in the abduction of the eye. So it causes lateral deviation. So if there is any palsy of abducent nerve, so it will cause ipsilateral medial squint. The eye will be remain confined medially. Then the third one, since it involves the corticospinal tracts, there will be contralateral hemiplegia of the limbs. Okay. Now coming to the second clinical correlation, that is your pontine cerebellar angle. So here it involves certain areas. So firstly it will involve your fourth ventricles choroid plexus. Then since it is present laterally, so you also have cerebellum, and only flocculus part is involved. And then since see this pontocerebellar angle, you can see this is your eighth cranial nerve. So whenever there is acoustic neuroma, which is usually seen in children, so acoustic neuroma is the tumor in the Schwann cells of this eighth cranial nerve. So this will compress the pontocerebellar angle, and this will produce this syndrome, that is the pontine cerebellar syndrome. So this will involve fourth ventricles choroid plexus, cerebellum, and only flocculus part. And see, this is your eighth cranial nerve, it is also involved, and this is your spinal tract and spinal nucleus of trigeminal nerve. So accordingly there will be features. So features will be, firstly, since it involves flocculus of cerebellum, so we will see tinnitus, a ringing sound in ear, progressive deafness, and vertigo. We also saw that it also involves the flocculus of cerebellum. So there will be ipsilateral ataxia and staggering gait. It involves facial nerve. See, it also involves this is your facial nerve. So there will be again ipsilateral palsy of facial nerve. Then it involves trigeminal nerve, as we saw, the spinal tract and spinal nucleus of this, and it is concerned with the pain and temperature sensation. So it will be lost, and it is also involved in the corneal reflex, so it is also lost. So these were some features which were related to the pontine cerebellar angle when there is acoustic neuroma of eighth cranial nerve. Then we'll see third, that is pontine hemorrhage, and this is basically due to when hemorrhage is caused in the branches of ICA. And what is this? This is anterior inferior cerebellar artery and basilar artery. Okay, so what are the clinical features? You will have pinpoint pupil due to involvement of ocular sympathetic fibers. Okay, so there will be constriction of the pupil. Then hyperpyrexia. See, your pons, it is involved in the body temperature regulation. So when it is lost, the temperature cannot be maintained. So homeostasis is disturbed and it can cause hyperpyrexia, that is your body temperature is increased. Then the body may go in deep coma, and see, this is due to the involvement of reticular formation. Reticular formation is involved to awake the system. Okay, so so there are fibers which go from the reticular formation to your cerebellum, cerebral cortex, and other part of the brain, which awake your awake the body. Okay, so if it is lost, then the body will go in deep coma. When the person cannot be awake by any external stimulus. Okay, so that is the basically what is the difference between the sleep and coma. And this may also involve facial nerve and the corticospinal tract, which may cause bilateral paralysis of face and limbs. Thank you.